Oh, good morning. I just got an error message saying that my SD card was recording slow, so I've changed the SD card. This happened to me once before on my GoPro. They're kind of like that when there's a software upgrade, the SD card can't accommodate it. You need to get a new SD card, which is a bummer because they're expensive. Anyway, I've just finished booking in some stock, and I was reflecting back on a time when I first started working in a warehouse after school. After school, my very first job. Because I thought I need to go and see my supplier. I haven't met him yet. I've been buying from him for nearly 10 years, and I've never met him. So I thought I'll have a day out and take my dad up there. It caused me to think about when I first started working in a warehouse. Like making a comparison, what it would be like to walk around a big, brand new, fancy, high volume warehouse selling the stuff that I used to sell when I left school. Different era, And I was thinking back to how I started there. And I thought it's a little story I must tell you. I must record it for prosperity. But I had a troubled childhood at school. When I was there, me and my sister were Jewish, when we were with one of there was a couple of other Jews in the school, but they were older than us. And I was an easy target. My first day at school, I was called an Irish Jew, because of my Irish heritage. So I got the nickname Irish Jew from some kids. It was my first experience of a little bit of anti-Semitism. But I was an easy target, and I used to get beat up every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times. And it was I'd get spat on. I'd have chewing gum thrown in my hair, kicked up the arse when I was walking down the corridor, that kind of thing. The only way to deal with it was to try and do the same back to the people that did it to you, but it would just cause problems and ongoing problems. And the worst time was when you start waiting outside a class for the teacher to come, and you're all 20 kids there sort of waiting for the teacher. And they used to sing a song, Knees Up Mother Brown. I don't know if you remember it or heard of it. It used to go like this. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, under the table you must go. E-I-E-I-I-O. If I catch you, I'll saw your legs right off. And all the lads would be singing this song at the same time. And I would get, while they were singing it, I'd get punched, kicked to the ground, and then just booted the shit out of me. Black eyes and bruises all over me and everything. Hated it. So when it came to the end of the second year and third year, I was playing truant all the time. Didn't go to school. Oddly enough, I ended up hanging around with bullies because I kind of got some protection from them, It was easier to get bullied by 1 or 2 kids than bullied by a whole 20 or 30 kids. Silly. But when I got to sort of about 15, my mum and dad were getting divorced, and so there was no kind of like stability. I found myself at Cannock Park, and there was a fairground sort of packing down, and I helped them pack down. And they went off to Newcastle, so I went with them in my school uniform, and I was up there for 3 weeks, working on the darts, on the hoopla, and the goldfish bowl things, bouncing a tennis ball into the goldfish bowl. And it was horrid. But when I came back, I went to my nan's. I was filthy dirty. She made me go to have a bath. I remember the bathwater, it was black. I didn't change me any underwear or anything. I just went in my school uniform. Anyway, when I was sort of washed up and everything, she came down. She said, "Bernard wants to see you." Bernard who? She's a Bar Mitzvah teacher. When I was 13, I got taught my Bar Mitzvah by a guy called Bernard. And I said, "Well, where have I got to? What does he want me for?" She said, "Just go and see him." She said, "Walk along Bristol Street. You'll come to Bromsgrove Street. Turn right. Walk halfway down there and you'll see a shop, M J Shapiro. Just go." Because parents and grandparents at the time, they were kind of like troubled by me, And so I got my denim jacket on, my jeans, and my pair of kickers. And red ones, red kickers. I was that kind of kid, I was like a British version of Popeye or something like that, or Bazooka Joe. And off I went to find this warehouse. And when I got in there was all these old guys in there in suits, Trilby hats, big fat guy called Joe, another guy called Walter, They're all market traders and warehousemen. I saw a guy I recognised, and there was Bernard, my Bar Mitzvah teacher, and he came over to me. He said, hello. He said, sit down. And then this guy, Joe, who owned the business, came over to me. And he put a piece of paper and a pen on the table. And he said to me, write down 15% of a pound. And I swore, because I hadn't gone to school or anything, I'd skipped maths and all that kind of thing for 2 or 3 years. I never did percentages. I didn't know how to work it out. And the reason why he was asking me that is because at the time VAT was 15%. I kind of knew that. I knew that was 15, it was VAT. But I didn't know how to work out 15% of a pound, and I sat there for about 10 minutes, trying to figure it out. Is it £1.50? Is it 15p? Is it 1.5p? I just didn't know. And I sat there for 10 minutes, and everyone saw on the other side of the room, this warehouse. It was an old pub, a big counter. It was the old bar was the counter where they serve people across the counter, and they're all on the other side of the counter, sort of leaning on the counter with their hands on the chins, just watching me. And I sat there for about 10 minutes, literally about 10 minutes, trying to figure it out. And in the end, I concluded it's got to be 15p. My instinct told me it was 15p, so I wrote it down, 15p. Said, okay, finished. And Joe's walked over. He's picked up the paper and he goes, Mazel tov, and they've all gone, Mazel tov, Mazel tov. And I was like my Bar Mitzvah all over again. I said, why, what was that? I didn't understand why I was there. And they said, you've got the job. I said, what job? I was excited all of a sudden. I got a job. Didn't even know it was an interview. I said, what am I going to be doing? He said, don't worry, you're going to be a schlepper. A schlepper? Ooh, that's like a promotion for me. Because when I was having Bar Mitzvah, Bernard used to call me a schmerel. So I've gone from being a schmerel to a schlepper. I thought I'm going to be the best schlepper the world has ever seen. I'm going to schlep boxes from here to there, on my back, on my shoulder, on my head. I'm going to be a schlepper. And I started work there, schlepping. Of course, at 16, 15, 16, I was coming to my 16th birthday, you see. I was strong, and I was enthusiastic, I was keen, I'd got a job. £5 a day, £25 a week. I had a driving lesson, cost me £13. I gave me nan a tenner, left me with £2. And I was a smoker as well, so I'd like buy 1 pack of fags, and then the rest of the week I'd be scrounging off this lad that I worked with called Ian. He was 10 years older than me, and I worked there for 18 months, but I loved it. I absolutely loved the environment. I loved the customers. I loved the guys I worked with. I loved Haberdashery. It was great. And little did I realise at that time that I'd end up doing it later on in life. Now, memories, eh? I was no longer a schmerel or a schwanz. Reb Moshe, du bist der Schwanz. Moshe Gross. Moshe Dafkenik. I became Moshe the Schlepper. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I just thought I'd touch base with you and share a memory. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Leave comments down below. Check you later. Bye.